Keeping with the theme of reviewing vintage gadgets that I use every day, I thought I'd better get round to doing the actual kitchen. I built this house 9 years ago, and I ran out of money when I needed a new kitchen. So, unable to afford a new kitchen, I had to make do with what I could find and what was available at the time, and it just so happened that this guy was ripping a kitchen out of a 1960s bungalow. This kitchen dates from about 1963. So I paid him, I think it was £30, and he delivered the kitchen he was ripping out to me. And I thought I would redesign the cupboard, I changed the doors and I changed the drawers, but the kitchen was in such good condition I just thought I'd keep it as it is. So this is the kitchen I've lived with for sort of 9 years. I think you see bits of it in my previous videos, but I thought I'd do a proper tour of and review how well the units work. I'll start over this side. You've got a display unit here, which is what I put my crockery on. I use to cook with. It makes a fine display unit. This is the sink unit. This is a really large sink, and I have to have a washing up bowl in here to reduce the amount of water that this sink takes. You can wash your laundry. This was from a time when people didn't have washing machines, so you could actually wash your washing in this, and you can get a mop bucket and everything under the tap. It's incredibly deep. Originally there would have been 2 taps above this sink, but because I have a window where I would have taps for this sink, I drilled a hole and fitted a mono, I think they're called a monoblock mixer tap, which is perfect for for what I want to use the sink for. It fills my needs fine. There's also an electric water heater underneath here, so I can have hot water without it running off the hot water tank. It's a bit quicker. I had to put this piece of marble in. I always like to have a piece of marble in the kitchen because it helps with the chopping and up and cooling things down and defrosting things. So I thought I'd put this piece of marble I had above the washing machine. This is a Miele washing machine, quite an old one now. I've had this only a few months. I picked this up for 20 quid. The glass door was smashed, so I just replaced the glass door, and it's been working well ever since. A brilliant washing machine. So the marble worktop basically bridges the space for the washing machine. I've got a bit of cupboard space, a bit of space to put my laundry powder and everything at the side of the washing machine. This is one long unit, freestanding unit. These are all freestanding units with the sliding doors. This one hides what they call folding breakfast bar. The kitchen dates from 1963. I know that because it's written on the label on the back, and you drop these legs down and now you have what they call a breakfast bar. It's just an extra piece of worktop. It's quite long. It's handy for rolling pastry out and doing the ironing on. So when you've filled up all the worktop space, you've still got this bit you can fold out in an emergency. I've got a modern fridge freezer. I do have several old fridges, but I needed the freezer space, so that's why there's a modern fridge freezer in here at the moment. Another unit here. This is just a double unit with these great big chunky sliding doors and nicely constructed drawers. I think the drawers in these are actually a mahogany. I mean, they're worn. You don't expect them not to be for this age, but they look reasonably tidy when they're closed. You could touch this up with paint really, but it's fine for what I use the kitchen for. This is a corner unit. This one's got a normal door, and then there's the sliding door here. And on the corner unit, I've got enough room to put I've got a coffee machine, a blender, a Kenwood Chef, which I use when I do baking cakes and things. It's brilliant. And then you go around to the New World Rangeette cooker. I converted this over from mains gas to LPG. I managed to get a jet kit, one and only remaining jet kit I think in the country, for this model of cooker. Unfortunately, the electric clock that powers the gas oven on and off, which uses a series of pilot lights, I had to disable the pilot lights because I'm on bottled gas, and as I converted it to LPG, the pilot lights would have just leached away all the gas over a period of time. So the oven is converted to LPG, and all the pilot lights are then now disabled, so it renders this a bit useless. You've got a warming oven with a plate rack to put your dinner plates. There's a storage thing underneath, and then of course there's the main oven. This is a little standalone unit on its own. I have this next to the telephone, and it has the Bush radio on. It's handy for putting your plates on when you're serving anything out of the oven. And you'll notice I have no top cupboards in this kitchen. The only top unit I have is a sort of a dresser thing that I made, but there are no top cupboards apart from the little cupboard there, and in this glass cupboard you can lock, and this contains all the stuff I use for work for the farm. So it's all full of animal medication in there. That's locked up, so it's not actually for anything in the kitchen. But that's the only cupboard I've got in here because I'm not a fan of top cupboards. I find it awkward to reach into top cupboards, so I don't have any top cupboards fitted. But yes, the kitchen has served me perfectly well for 9 years. Its construction seems solid. I do find with these units, these worktops, sometimes if you get a blemish in them, I think there's one over here, most of the time the scratches you can just polish out, but it's not worn through. It dates to 1963, and nothing is actually worn out surface wise in the kitchen. I mean, the sink is still fine. It could do with being cleaned and polished up a bit, but it comes up as good as new. The display unit still has the original little print on it. But yes, all in all, a nice kitchen by Hygena, which serves me perfectly well.